just don't appreciate it.
We're against Americans.
Fat brown buffalo.
Social justice warrior.
Fat brown buffalo.
I don't give a shit.
Fat brown buffalo.
Oh my God.
Fat brown buffalo.
I'm fucking better than you.
Fat brown buffalo.
Okay? Much better than you. You are garbage.
Fat brown buffalo. Fat brown buffalo. Okay, so online, the right wing have a nickname for me, which I'm amused by, but I don't know, what others would think. They call me Fat Brown Buffalo.
Now wait a minute. No! Donald Trump was off the chain. Donnie Boy got loose on Twitter, to no one's shock. He did it again. And what did he do? He went after a Democrat. So he talked shit about a Democrat who, I get, this old guy. This guy looks like an old puppy dog. He's the head of some, council, chair, committee, who knows. But he's a prominent Democrat. And apparently he comes from Baltimore. And so I guess the gist of it, this is my little, I've been sort of on vacation. Not really, but I'm in LA. And what I think happened was this Democrat in question was saying something about the conditions at the border and the detention centers and was talking some junk about that. And Trump fired back with, why don't you watch your mouth, sir?
Get the fuck up! Simon says, get the fuck up!
Because the district you represent is an unmitigated shithole. Something to that effect. Now, he used even more colorful language than that. He was talking about infestation, and there's rats and dirt, and it's crime infested. So he was going in on this dude about Baltimore. Now, maybe some of you don't understand what Baltimore is. Baltimore is a shithole, okay? It's a very undesirable place to be. I mean, most of you have never been there, and it makes sense, and I don't even blame you. But yeah, it is crime infested to a laughable degree, which is why I find it funny that the bronies, yes, the My Little Pony fans, have chosen Baltimore to be their annual spot to have their brony con. It just makes no sense, but I kind of like it. So, in reaction to this, the media sort of freaked out and, as they usually do to Trump's stuff, Trump just poured gasoline on something and then he poured some more on, and people take it as an opportunity to virtue signal and to rant and to rage, but listen to how they do it, because at no point during their rebuttal to Trump's tweets is anyone attempting to say that Baltimore is not a shithole. At least I have not come across that. So Trump might be coarse, he might be unpresidential, he might be childish, he might be unnecessarily rude or insensitive. All of those things, all true, but so are the basic facts about Baltimore. It is a terrible place.
Now back to the other big story we are following, being talked about all across the nation. President Trump unleashing again.
Get the fuck up! Simon says, get the fuck up!
A new series of attacks on Democratic Congressman Elijah Cummings and his West Baltimore district. The president trashing the congressman on Twitter, claiming his district has the worst crime statistics in the nation, but providing zero sources to back up his claim.
I mean, this is kind of a cheap shot. I mean, to blame one guy. What is his role? He's like a congressman. So he's supposed to clean up the crime in Baltimore? And if he doesn't, it's on him? Ridiculous ask. And it was probably a shithole 25 years ago. So he sort of inherited it the way it is.
That is in addition to the president's attacks that took place this weekend when he tweeted, the city of Baltimore is a, quote, disgusting rat and rodent infested mess.
What is the difference between a rat and a rodent?
If Congressman Cummings spent more time in Baltimore, maybe he could help clean up this very dangerous and filthy place.
So here, let me cut to the chase a little bit here. When Trump says this about Baltimore, that it's a filthy place, what people hear, the way that's taken is Trump is saying a black majority city is filthy. Trump is saying blacks are filthy. Now he's not. He didn't say that. If he wanted to say that, he would have said that. Instead, he said Baltimore is filthy because it is. So if you have a problem with the fact that Baltimore is mostly black and that Baltimore is filthy, you go deal with that and stop blaming messengers.
The president followed up by calling Congressman Cummings, who is black, a racist.
Ha ha! She just went out of her way to say the congressman is black. Who is black? You called a black a racist? See, that's awesome. I love how the news reporter is saying a black can't be racist. She's like, listen to this. He's calling Elijah Cummings a black? A racist? How? But I mean, he doesn't explain it. Why is Elijah Cummings racist? I have yet to hear that, but I mean, I'm definitely open to the idea that non-whites can be racist, so.
The congressman responded with a series of tweets on Saturday saying,
Wait, what is the graphic? Trump steps up attacks on black lawmaker? Okay, how about Elijah Cummings fires back at white president? I mean, the identity politics are nonstop, totally irrelevant, and it exposes their hand. All they hear, everything else is white noise. Aside from the fact, black man said this to white man said that to black man. And then it's like, wait, what did they say? No, forget what they said. Just notice who said it. Who said it to whom? Conjugate that motherfucker.
saying this, Mr. President, I go home to my district daily. Each morning I wake up and I go and fight for my neighbors.
Do you fight with your neighbors or for them?
It is my constitutional duty to conduct oversight of the executive branch, but it is my moral duty to fight for my constituents.
Oh my God, what a manufactured tweet that was. He's like, this tweet's going down in history. The president's gonna read this one.
Just yesterday, I held a hearing on the skyrocketing prices of prescription drugs and the financial hardships that families across the nation and in Baltimore are facing.
Okay, so he's pivoting to policy positions and his own agenda. The price of prescription drugs, they are too high, ridiculously too high, which is a good point, but basically he's trying to use his little moment in the sun here to get his talking points across, which, you know, I see you. I see what you're doing.
Mr. President, we can address this together. 2 years ago, I went to the White House to ask you to endorse my bill to let the government negotiate directly for lower drug prices. You told me then that you supported the legislation and that you would work with me to make it happen. I took you at your word.
I like the fact that, you know, this drug issue has nothing to do with the rodentia in Baltimore or the crime in Baltimore. So it's just a kind of tangential thing that he's just being opportunistic about.
Joining me now, Baltimore Mayor Bernard Young.
Is he white or black? Bernard? Okay, I've answered my own question.
Mayor Young, President Trump clearly has sent a message to the city of Baltimore. What's your message to him?
Suck a dick, sir. Mr. President?
My message to the president is stop tweeting and send federal help and federal resources to the city of Baltimore.
Oh my God, so you basically rolled over like a dog and want us to scratch your belly? We don't know what we doing. I'm the mayor of the city. Send federal help. Send the National Guard.
Not just to the city of Baltimore, to urban cities around the country.
Urban cities? Wait a minute. That seemed redundant. As opposed to rural cities? Urban cities. Oh, you mean black. Okay. Cities of essence? How about that?
That are having problems with aging infrastructure, with crime and grime.
Crime and grime? Is that a new music genre? Wait, you want us to send aid to stop the crime and build the infrastructure? Oh, sure, we'll just make it rain. We'll throw money at it. Mayor, are you just absolving yourself of all responsibility to tend to the city that you're the mayor of? So basically he's saying, look, let's declare Baltimore a national disaster. It's a disaster zone, okay? It needs federal dollars to make you holler. It gets paid to do the wild. What the fuck am I talking about even?
And a reduction in resources from the federal government. We have an unfunded EPA mandate to fix our aging infrastructure, which causes us to raise water rates on our vulnerable poor people in the city of Baltimore.
Okay, this man cannot talk. He's not enunciating. He's slurring his speech. He's mid-stroke.
Stop tweeting and send us the help that we need.
Yeah, Mr. President, give us money.
So help me understand that. The president's attack on Baltimore this weekend was not met with any new proposals for federal solutions to your problems?
None.
As mayor of the city of Baltimore, I'm here to say, give me your money. This is a shakedown. Yeah.
Not one. I have not heard from the president, nor...
Does she have too much foundation on her face? Why is her face not the same color as her shoulders?
Normally when a new mayor comes into office, whether it's through a mayor resigning or whatever, they will get a letter from the president congratulating them and offering to meet with them to find out what their priorities are. I haven't received anything, and he's right down the road.
Yeah, but he's talking about white mayors.
Well, get specific with me, please.
That's what you do for like Sarah Palin. For Bernard? Come on. I'm kidding, YouTube. I'm kidding.
Have you seen the reverse? Have proposed or already enacted federal spending cuts hurt your city?
The politics of hate. Wait a minute, who does Trump hate? Rodents? Yeah, what's up with this anti-rat bigotry?
Yes, they have.
Where?
in our health department, in our SNAP program that he's talking about cutting even further. The money that we needed for our tunnel upgrades, we wanted $215 million. He sent us $115 million.
Wait a minute, $215 million to fix the tunnels in Baltimore? The problem isn't the tunnels, the problem is the 100 bums living under the tunnels. The idea that Baltimore just needs a few tweaks here and there, a new paint job, is absurd. You guys want to see some footage of Baltimore? I went and did some research, okay? This is Baltimore last week. Okay, it's not that bad, but it's getting there. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. No, but here it is. Look at this footage of a dude just rolling around Baltimore. I'm out. Sketchy? Get me out of there. Is that a human being? I don't know what that is. Huh. You know, it's good to see a peloton of such bike enthusiasts. You know, just Lance Armstrong fans. Potentially Greg LeMond. You know, you got your wife beater on because I guess it's aerodynamic. They probably tested it in a wind tunnel. I mean, these guys are way into cycling. Oh, hell no. Hell no. Oh, fucking, this looks sketchy. But I mean, case closed. Have you seen enough evidence? This place is a disaster. And this is all before Omar gets loose, coming out with his scar and his shotgun. And there's just a zombie man just walking across the street. Night of the Living Dead.
$100 million short. I mean, not just Baltimore. Cities around this country.
Urban cities?
Their federal funding have been cut by this president, who claimed when he got in office he wanted to make America great again.
Yeah, he said to make America great, not Baltimore.
What he's doing is dividing America racially.
Well, what if he offers you a solution? What if he picks up the phone today and says, Mayor, I've got a Marshall Plan to solve the problems that are plaguing our poorest cities. Can you work with him?
Don't hold your breath for Trump to do that.
I will welcome that. I will welcome that, because instead of us going back and forth on how bad American cities are, particularly Baltimore, tell me what you want to do to help us to fix these problems.
Wait, again, you're the mayor. Shouldn't you have a plan about that? I thought that was your job.
Take me out of politics. Take me out of political strategy in the 2020 election. Help us understand, what's the real world impact of President Trump's repeated racist tweeting?
MSNBC. I just noticed that that's who it is, so I shouldn't be surprised. His racist tweeting? How is it racist? I mean, does it even make sense for me to ask that question anymore? It's racist because, I don't know, because blacks exist in America. And if you comment on anything related to them, it's racist. No, we're sorry, milady. Baltimore's a shining city on a hill, okay? It's the envy of the world, and we all wish we could live there.
It has divided this country. He has alienated our allies around the world.
He's alienated our airlines around the world. Did he say allies? Alliances? Jesus, I'm going to have to rewind.
Alienated our allies around the world.
Oh, allies. Allies. That's not how you say allies. Come on, man.
Instead of him using his bully pulpit to belittle minorities,
He uses it to bully.
politics have to be in it. He just attacked 4 minority women.
Oh, my God. And they highlight there were minority women. You know, when he went after John Kerry or Mitt Romney, it wasn't mentioned. Their race wasn't mentioned. But when he goes after a minority woman, then, oh, that's a lead. That's the headline. He went after a person of color. Because they're a person of color? No, just because they were Democrats. He goes after all Democrats and Republicans. Anyone who confronts him, he will go after. If anything, he is an equal opportunity bully. So why would you die on the hill of calling this guy a racist because he addressed a black person in a confrontational fashion?
Now he attacked Elijah Cummings, African-American male.
Yeah, mention that. I mean, Elijah. I mean, don't just say Elijah Cummings, a Democrat. Hype it up. This is the same guy, this mayor, just accused Trump of dividing the country. And what is he doing right there in his rhetoric? Dividing the country.
We should be trying to make America great again, as he said, instead of turn America down.
Turn America down? First of all, why would you use his slogan? You're a Democrat. Second of all, turn America down? Did America ask us for a date?
Racially dividing this country.
Yeah, you know how I just racially divided this country? Why is Trump racially dividing this country?
The federal government have resources that they can give cities to help with all these problems. The crime rate goes down, you know.
Oh, right. Yeah, just give the city money and the crime rate goes down. You mind explaining the logic on that? How does that work? You have no plan. Should we just pay the criminals to... yeah, why steal? We just give them money.
Cities be vibrant again. He needs to do those kind of things.
Well, tell me what your city looks like, because on day one of this administration, the president talked about what he called American carnage, high crime, failing schools, and racial tensions. You are the mayor of a major American city. Tell us what Baltimore really looks like.
Baltimore is a vibrant city.
A vibrant city. Oh, man. Someone, quick, get Webster's dictionary on that. Vibrant is not Baltimore.
Baltimore is home to some of the world's
most dangerous criminals.
Renowned institutions, Johns Hopkins, shock trauma. We have all of our cultural events right here in Baltimore.
Yeah, nobody's talking about the colleges. We're talking about the people and the murders. Brosif, they just did a thing. The Baltimore Sun put out a study. Neighborhoods are crying out. Baltimore has highest homicide rate of U.S. big cities. This is 2018. Baltimore had the worst homicide rate among the nation's 50 largest cities last year, and the second highest violent crime rate overall, according to new data from the FBI. The grim news was the latest reminder of the sustained cycle of violence. It's the cycle of violence, and it moves us all, that has gripped the city since 2015, when the annual numbers of homicides soared above 300 for 3 consecutive years after the unrest that followed Freddie Gray's death from injuries suffered in police custody. You gotta be kidding me. They're pinning this on Freddie Gray? Sorry. So, some black policeman puts Freddie Gray in the backseat of a car, gives him a rough ride, killing him by accident, and that's the reason that the crime rate has soared? No! In what way have you... Jesus Christ. There were 342 homicides in Baltimore last year, 56 per 100,000 people who live in the city. That's fucking atrocious. That's the highest per capita in the city's history, and according to the FBI report Monday, the highest rate of any American city with more than 500,000 people. Oh... yeah, you know what will solve this? A little bit of money.
We're a city that have problems like any other city.
No, you have more problems than any other city.
But we're moving forward.
You're moving off a cliff like a lemming.
And we're moving forward without really a lot of assistance from the federal government. I mean, you know, HUD, they're cutting programs that are hurting poor people all over this country, not just in Baltimore, but in the entire country. We need for the president to send federal help to Baltimore for programs that's going to uplift people instead of turn people down.
Compelling. Oh, inspirational speech, Mayor. I think the president's probably going to cut you off a fat check. You might want to refresh your inbox.
Those attacks and those tweets, I've never in my entire life ever heard of any president tweeting.
Yep, because Twitter hasn't been around that long. Yeah, you know, Bill Clinton was never tweeting jack shit.
And doing these kind of things to divide us instead of bringing us all together. We, like I said earlier, our allies are even shaken by some of the things that this president is doing and has done.
Yes, Trump is a buffoon, but also Baltimore is a fucking rat-infested shithole. I mean, can both things be true? Yeah, they can be because they are.
You're right, Mayor. It has never been done before, so maybe this is an opportunity for people across this country to unite.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC.
Oh, I think he says something like fuck. If you want to fuck with me, like, maybe it's not fuck. It's something about anal. He's like, click this link, but it's something sexual. Watch.
Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me.
There it is, just below me. Just below me.
You can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.
Okay. Oh, fucking hell. All right, so Stevie of the House Shives chimed in because he lives outside of Baltimore, so this is his neck of the woods.
Wow, did I just sound like a naive white guy there, or what?
And he came in with, having lived in Maryland my whole life. Well, wait a minute, time out. You live in Sharpsburg, an exclusively white suburb of Maryland. So, oh, by the way, also a Confederate stronghold, so home to a famous Civil War battle, and home to restaurants with Confederate flags hanging outside of them, and home to your grandpappy who was in the Klan. So you're not really a Baltimorean, but hold on, take two. A Baltitian. You're not a politician, okay? I can tell you that the attitude expressed by Trump about Baltimore is shared by the vast majority of white people in this area, including you, Steve. So wait, that doesn't say that they're wrong. You know the reason why people in Maryland think Baltimore is a rat-infested shithole filled with crime? It's because they've been to Baltimore, and they've seen it, and they read the news reports about it. They can read, Steve. They have the life experience that tells them that's true. I love how Steve thinks that is a gotcha. You know, white people in Maryland are aware of what Trump said and that it's true. He continues, it's not at all unusual for white folks who live outside the city, kind of like you, Steve, and rarely if ever visit, kind of like you, Steve. Although I do say that, here's a picture of Steve in Baltimore, hold on. It's a bit of a grainy shot, but there he is, bottom left. Check him out. It's cool that the people just accept him, he's just a local. Okay, so it's not unusual for these white people to refer to it as some kind of post-apocalyptic hellhole. The racism and poor shaming that inform this view are unmistakable. It's repugnant, but sadly very common. So you're telling me it's not a post-apocalyptic hellhole? Citation needed, sir. And then he switched to, it's just racism. So it's to call that city a shithole is racist because there are blacks there. That's that logic. And yet, if I called a white city, let's say there's a white city in Bulgaria that's a shithole, is that racism? Because there are white people there? Oh no, that's just an observation of fact. And as far as poor shaming, I mean, that's, first of all, that's not an expression, is it? Poor shaming? Look, there are white people in Baltimore, and they're messed up too. You want to see a couple of them?
My father, who lived over in East Baltimore, they live over that side, like near Patterson Park. But the problem is, they don't agree with what I'm doing.
My blood clotted up, bro.
Yeah, those guys, yeah, I guess they're poor. They do live in Baltimore. They are drug addicts, potentially criminal. They need to be detoxed and put in rehab. Their lives are totally floundering and headed nowhere, and they're essentially walking dead people. But they're white, so if you announce all those things, which are facts about them, I guess it's not racist because they're white. But if those dudes were black, it would be racist because guilt. So that's the paradigm we're looking at. An utter disgrace. Look, you and I, we're going to go about our lives, our nights, our days, and Baltimore is insignificant to us. We're not going to visit it. We're not going to live there. But for the sake of it, for the integrity of it all, could we please be honest about what Baltimore currently is? Who lives there? Who's committing the crimes? And the nature of the rodent infestation? okay? It is what it is, y'all. Let's not run and hide from it, let's address it. More madness. We live in the racist version of McCarthyism. History is repeating, only this time it's worse because it's ramped up by the internet. I have been your guide through this infestation of retardation. I wish you the best, and by the way, this video has been brought to you by my new Venmo account. I just woke up and realized that it's the 21st century, and I started a Venmo account, and here it is. That's my barcode right there. Yeah. Oh God, that's how advanced it has gotten. You can scan that and it goes right to my account. And then you could hook me up and we could become friends, and then we can DM each other, and then dick pics. So I hope you're doing well. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.